Welcome to the sports. I'm Jaden Sanders. As high school softball regular season winds down, the Spartans were in action tonight for their final regular season home game. To Spartan territory now, as South Warren hosted the visiting Central Hardin Lady Bruins. Bottom of the first, Selena Metcalf connects on the pitch, ripping it down to the third base line, bringing in a run across the plate, bringing it to 1-0 Spartans. Fast forward to the bottom of the second, Layla Ogden blasted into orbit to left center field, over the fence for the 3-run home run. She crosses the plate in celebration. To the bottom of the third now, 2-on. Katie Walker puts the barrel to the ball, launching it over to the center field wall. See ya later, softball. We'll catch you on the other side. South Warren dominates. Final score, 13-2. And finally, 2 weeks ago, Rich Strike stunned the racing world, finishing in first with the lowest odds in the Kentucky Derby. Bowling Green's own Epicenter finished in second place, now attempting a first-place finish in the Preakness this Saturday. Epicenter's owner, Ron Winchell, says they are running this race with the same mindset, but the Derby loss has them looking towards the future. And that is a look at sports. We'll be back right after this. We start tonight against the Hickory Crawdads. This is now game 4 of the series, and the Hot Rods currently have a 3-0 lead over the Crawdads. BG will be looking to add to their series lead tonight at 6:30 p.m. We'll have the final score at our 10 p.m. broadcast. And the Hot Rods have been electric over the last few weeks thanks to the help of second baseman Ronnie Simon. Simon was announced as Minor League Baseball's SAL Player of the Week after a huge performance on the road against the Asheville Taurus. Here's his reaction to being named Player of the Week and what has helped him throughout this season. And the 2022 Futures game is just around the corner. The Hot Rods have 2 former guys selected to play. Infielder Curtis Meade and pitcher Taj Bradley have both been to participate in this year's game. Here's what Hot Rods manager Jeff Smith had to say about these 2 being selected. And sticking with the upcoming Futures game, the Cincinnati Reds' number 2 prospect, Ellie De La Cruz, was also selected for this year's game. Cruz celebrated being named to the Futures game by hitting 3 home runs yesterday in the Dayton Dragons doubleheader. The MLB All-Star Futures game is set for Saturday, July 16th at Dodger Stadium. And now to the hardwood now, as former Wildcat Shannon Sharp was drafted by the Portland Trail Blazers a few weeks ago and has been playing in the Summer League. Sharp did leave last night's game with a shoulder injury. Trailblazers assistant coach Steve Hetzel said Sharp was taken off the court for preliminary reasons and didn't want to aggravate it more. Here's what Portland star Damian Lillard had to say about his new teammate. And the Superstar Racing Experience makes its return to the Nashville Fairgrounds this Saturday night on CBS. The series returns to the historic speedway with legends like Tony Stewart, Ryan Newman, Greg Biffle, Bobby Labonte, and Kentucky's own Michael Waltrip, as well as many others. You won't want to miss this action this weekend. Welcome to the sports. This is Jaden Sanders. We start off tonight with a big addition to the Russellville Athletics. Orlando Hayden has been named the Russellville's newest girls basketball head coach. Hayden has nearly 20 years of coaching experience throughout the 4th region, including stops in Glasgow, Hopkins County Central, and Warren East with boys and girls squads. While he's assistant at those schools, he also spent 1 season at the Converto Colonel's boys interim head coach, leading the team to an 18th district title. Hayden will be introduced later on this month. And let's head on down to Crescent Street now, where WKU softball is adding Kelsey Schmidt to the team's lineup. Schmidt, originally from Ohio, played 2 seasons at Auburn as a utility player. The former Tiger has 2 seasons of eligibility starting this fall. This is the second big addition for Amy Tudor's team, the first being Faith Haig from UAB. Into some high school baseball now as Patrick Forbes continues to rake in the awards. Today's honor being the only KHSAA baseball player to be named a first-team All-American by Max Preps. Forbes scorched his competition all year long and continues to prove he's ready for his D1 baseball with the Louisville Cardinals. To the Hot Rods now, their baseball game against the Taurus got postponed due to inclement weather. They're scheduled to be back on the diamond for a doubleheader starting at 3:05. The Hot Rods return back to Bowling Green for a 4th of July matchup against the Hickory Crawdads, scheduled at 6:35 p.m. And to the WKU Hilltoppers baseball team, they hit the diamond today, looking to break even in their final home series of the year. The Tops could not come out on top, falling to the visiting Monarchs 11-4, dropping to 0-2 in the series. WKU will close out their season tomorrow at Nick Dennis Field, and it will be senior day. Final pitch is set for 1 p.m. And now to the Bowling Green Hot Rods. They came out revving for the 2nd day in a row, crushing the Greensboro Grasshoppers 10-4. And the Hot Rods now hold on to a 3-1 lead on the series and will be looking to continue winning this weekend. BG is back in action tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. and will be closing out the series on Sunday at 1 p.m.
And I was told the game and learn the game from my brothers, Ricky, David, Leslie, but most of my time was spent with my brother Leslie, learning how to play the game of basketball. And with them being older than me, they taught me some of the things that, a collegiate player would be taught. And it really just helped define my game. So when I was in these different grades, from elementary to middle school to high school, I got a chance to go with my older brothers, and I took a lot of beat downs too, Jaden. Man, it was a lot of
Yeah.
butt kickings, can I tell you?
Oh yeah. So I mean, going from doing all that to being all American, that it takes a lot of hard work and dedication. And you grew up, you were a pretty dominant in your high school days. I saw in there you dropped 70 one time in high school in Tennessee.
Yeah. Yes. One of those nights, man. It was like I said, my brothers who were probably my biggest fans, David and Leslie, didn't miss a high school game. So even starting as a sophomore, getting a chance to play as a sophomore before seniors and being the leading scorer on that team, coming back my junior season, I didn't know what the expectations were. I went spent some with my oldest brother Ricky at the time, who had played in AI basketball.
And becoming a judge, that takes a lot of hard work and dedication. And a lot of people, they don't know the process of becoming a judge. And I would like for people to know what it takes to become a judge in that and how the process goes with that, because I'm interested in how do you become a judge in
Well, obviously, you have to graduate from a law school and pass the bar. So that's the first key step. But as far as actually becoming a judge, there are a couple of ways you can become a judge. You can win an election, put your name in the hat, go through the election process, go through possibly a primary, general election, and have the people vote you in. Or you can be put in place, be appointed by a governor. I actually was appointed by the governor back in 2017, but that next year I had to run to keep my seat. So you're going to either be appointed or you can be elected by the people. But either way, the people of the county or the people of the precinct where you are, they're going to have to keep you in that seat no matter what. So I was very fortunate to have the appointment of Governor Bevin back in 2017. The next year was an election year, and someone wanted to run against me to keep my seat. Fortunate enough for me, I was able to run and keep that seat. But it was a long run to get there. It was very hard because I thought about becoming a judge a long time ago, but didn't actually go through the process until 2010.
And I also want to talk to you about, how is it being, one of the best players in the state of Kentucky during that time in the 80s and the 90s?
Wow. That was a long time ago. I think I thought I was one of the best. We didn't get a lot of credit and recognition in Hopkinsville, in Hoptown. I came out at the time, I think myself, Allen Houston, I think he was player of the year, Travis Ford at Madisonville. There were several guys, man, that were really good ball players during that time, but I don't think we got a lot of credit being in Western Kentucky, but I think I did well.
So I also like to talk to you a little bit about how you went from being one of the best players in the state to you have to go to the JUCO route. How was that?
That's an interesting story. Not many people know. Most people think when you go junior college, they at the time, I think it was Prop 48, that if you didn't have your ACT or SCT scores, you didn't score high enough, that you had to sit out, or you had to go to junior college or go to a Division two or NAIA, et cetera, et cetera. I was different. I had the test scores. I actually had the test scores, but I didn't have the core curriculum. And part of that was I took a trade school class with some friends of mine. And I didn't have the guidance from at home. from my mother, and there's no fault to her, but I didn't have the guidance from her, but more importantly, I didn't have the guidance from my high school to say, hey, you need to take these classes for you to be eligible to go to a 4-year school. And as opposed to sitting out, I said, I'm going to go to junior college. And I ended up at Lincoln Trail Community College in Robinson, Illinois, which probably was the best thing for me. I loved it. I loved my experience. I loved my experience there. And I'm actually in the process with one of my best friend, Frederick Taylor. We're in the process of going back there and building homes for the student athletes and people in that community as we speak. But I went there. I was second team All-American. The first team All-American point guard was Nick Van Exel. I was second team All-American. And Sam Cassell was the third team All-American. So Nick goes to Cincinnati. I remember being on my recruiting visit at Clemson. And I had to decide between, I think it was Alabama, Auburn, and Cincinnati, and Louisville.